Hello, and welcome back. That weekly promo where Rocco appears so panicked during the video call just about stopped my breath. You can see the fear in his young eyes, and then there's that striking image from the magazine showing Charlotte staring at her phone with such deep worry written all over her face. She's right there at home with Danny beside her, trying to stay composed, but anyone who has followed these characters as long as I have can tell she's utterly terrified by what she's seeing on that screen. Rocco is reaching out from one of those disposable phones, the kind people use when they think they're being clever and staying hidden, and he's even routing it through Charlotte's school email address. Oh, the innocence of that boy breaks my heart because he simply doesn't understand the dangers the way Charlotte does. She's had to learn those harsh lessons the hard way, spending so much of her young life on the run with her father Valentine that she knows every trick and every risk involved in trying to stay invisible. What really has my pulse racing is how this single phone call from Rocco to Charlotte has accidentally revealed the secret of their hiding spot. Even though Britt smashed both their old phones under her foot right before they sped away from the hospital together, these burner phones aren't foolproof, and Charlotte understands that better than anyone. She knows about signal triangulation and how certain organizations can narrow down a location to a frighteningly small area in no time at all. I've watched enough episodes over the years to recognize when the writers are laying down these clever breadcrumbs, and this one feels particularly clever because it ties directly into the new and rather wild developments unfolding right now. It proves that one impulsive moment of reaching out for comfort can unravel everything these two have been fighting to protect, and I can't help but feel a warm rush of sympathy for them while also getting that delicious thrill of anticipation that keeps me coming back to General Hospital season after season. This new chapter is connected in such a dizzying way to the escalating obsession that's taking hold, especially with Cullum finally realizing that Rocco is the one who shot him. That revelation changes everything in the most unexpected manner, and it's showing us a side of Cullum that feels both fresh and intensely personal. In all my years of watching, I've seen plenty of villains nurse grudges that span decades. But this feels different because it's tied so closely to a young boy who never asked for any of this danger. Cullum's growing fixation isn't just about revenge anymore. It's becoming something deeper and more relentless. And the way the story is unfolding suggests he's ready to expand his hunt to include both Rocco and Britt in a much wider and more dangerous pursuit. I keep asking myself how far he'll go now that he knows the truth, and the answer the show seems to be hinting at is that nothing will stop him from turning up the pressure until he gets what he wants. The trouble brewing around this situation keeps layering on more complications, and it's all linked to the fresh changes that are making this arc so addictive. Cullum's expanded manhunt for Rocco and Britt feels like it's building towards something truly explosive, and I find myself nodding along because it mirrors some of the best chase stories we've seen on the show over the years, yet it carries its own unique intensity. Sidwell is right there in the mix too, directing his own people to track Britt down and bring her back immediately, and you can sense from the promos that his phone conversations are dripping with urgency about her. The whole reason Britt and Rocco ran in the first place was to escape these very threats. And now, one innocent call home might have handed their enemies the map they needed. It's the kind of mistake that happens in real families under stress, and the writers have captured that human element so beautifully that it makes the danger feel all the more real and pressing. One of the most heartbreaking possibilities emerging from these new developments is that Britt might end up sacrificing herself to give Rocco a chance to escape the pursuit. I've seen Britt go through so many trials already, and the idea that she could give her life to save this boy she's protecting touches a deep chord with me as a longtime viewer who has watched mothers and guardians make impossible choices time and again. It would mark a new disaster for everyone involved, sending ripples through the entire canvas of Port Charles in ways we haven't seen coming. I can already picture how Charlotte would react, how Danny would try to support her, and how the larger family circle would be shaken to its core. Yet even as I worry about such an outcome, I remind myself that General Hospital has always had a way of turning tragedy into growth and new beginnings. So perhaps this sacrifice, if it comes, will open doors to healing we don't even see yet. What I love most about this storyline is how it proves the show is still willing to take bold, almost crazy risks with its characters while staying true to the heart that has kept me loyal all these years. Some viewers might argue that bringing Cullum's obsession to this level feels sudden, but when you look back at the clues that have been planted over recent months, it all fits together like pieces of a puzzle that was hiding in plain sight. Rocco's inexperience with running and hiding contrasts so sharply with Charlotte's hard-earned wisdom, and that difference alone creates such rich, dramatic tension. Britt, for her part, is doing everything she can to keep them both safe, but she can't control every variable, especially when a frightened boy reaches for the one person he trusts most. I keep wondering whether Charlotte will be able to warn him in time about the risks of that phone, or if the damage from this call has already set events in motion that can't be stopped. The show answers these questions so skillfully that every new episode feels like a gift, pulling me deeper into the lives of these characters I've come to care about like extended family. Thinking back to some of the classic running and hiding arcs that defined earlier eras of General Hospital, this one stands out because it centers on younger characters who haven't yet built the street smarts that veterans like Jason or Sonny once relied upon. Those old stories were thrilling, of course, but there's something especially tender and urgent about watching Rocco learn these lessons the hard way while Britt tries to shield him. The expanded hunt from Cullum adds layers of suspense that keep building, and I find myself smiling at how cleverly the writers have tied it all to Sidwell's larger schemes without making it feel forced. It's the perfect reminder that no one in Port Charles is ever truly safe, yet hope always lingers just around the corner, waiting for the right moment to shine through. As I sit here reflecting on everything that's unfolding, I feel that familiar warmth of excitement mixed with genuine concern for these young souls. The phone call has set off a chain reaction that is exposing hidden dangers and forcing everyone to confront truths they might rather keep buried. Cullum's new level of determination to pursue Rocco and Britt is raising the stakes higher than they've been in a long while, and the possibility of Britt making the ultimate sacrifice to ensure the boys' escape adds a layer of emotional depth that I truly appreciate at my age. We've lost beloved characters before, and each time the show has honored those departures by allowing the survivors to grow stronger and wiser. This time feels no different, even as my heart hopes against hope that somehow both Rocco and Britt will find their way through this storm. The beauty of General Hospital has always been its ability to make us feel every high and every low right alongside the residents of Port Charles, and this current arc is delivering that experience in spades. I can't wait to see how Charlotte processes the information from that call and whether she shares it with the rest of the family in a way that might help or complicate things further. Danny being right there beside her offers a quiet comfort, reminding us that friendship and loyalty still matter even in the midst of chaos. And somewhere in the background, Valentine's own history of evasion might come into play, offering wisdom or resources that could turn the tide at the last possible moment. These connections across generations are what make the show feel like a living tapestry, and I'm grateful every day that the writers continue to honor that tradition while introducing fresh surprises. In the end, this storyline with the phone call and its consequences has me more invested than ever, proving once again why I've stayed faithful to General Hospital through all the changes in television and in my own life. The escalating obsession from Cullum, the expanded pursuit, and the looming possibility of a tragic sacrifice from Britt are creating a perfect storm of drama that keeps me counting the hours until the next episode airs. I know I'm not alone in feeling this way. So many of us longtime viewers have shared how these kinds of intense personal stakes are what keep the show vibrant and alive. Whatever comes next, whether it's a narrow escape, a heartbreaking loss, or an unexpected alliance that changes everything, I trust the writers will handle it with the care and craft they've shown for decades. This revenge plot feels like the natural evolution of everything that's been building, and it proves how cleverly the show is adjusting its storytelling to keep the stakes sky high. Charlotte isn't content to sit back and wait for Cullum's obsession with Rocco to swallow them all whole. No, She's turning the tables by planning a direct attack that targets the very men who forced Britt into hiding in the first place. I love how this mirrors some of the classic Port Charles vendettas I grew up watching, yet it carries a fresh, almost crazy energy because it's coming from these young characters who refuse to let another loved one pay the ultimate price. The way the story is unfolding makes it crystal clear that Britt's potential sacrifice to save Rocco isn't going to go unanswered. Instead, it lights a fuse that leads straight to Sidwell's schemes and Cullum's expanding manhunt, forcing everyone to confront dangers that feel bigger and more personal than ever before. What really thrills me is how this new adjustment ripples outward, creating a chain of events that keeps the tension crackling like electricity. Charlotte and Danny's bold move isn't reckless. It's calculated, born from love and the fierce need to protect the family they've built. It shows the writers aren't afraid to hand the next generation real agency, and that difference from the original cautious storylines makes the drama feel alive and urgent. I keep wondering if their strike will catch Sidwell off guard during one of his urgent phone calls, or if Cullum's growing fixation will blind him just long enough for the kids to land a blow. Either way, it's sparking a whole new level of chaos that has me counting the minutes until the next episode, because this kind of fearless storytelling is exactly why I've stayed loyal all these decades.